We gotta talk about the real meaning behind this new Xbox feature. What's up, y'all? Welcome to Xbox Ready, my YouTube channel that is all about Xbox. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll notice that I am in a completely different space. I've changed spaces a couple of times over the life of this channel. I used to film at Jimmy's house. That was a place with a brick, and my bedroom, my little spare office that I have in my old apartment. But now I'm in a new apartment. Me and my wife are in the middle of moving all of our stuff over. It's not 100% yet. I've been building furniture all day. My hair is all crazy. I don't even have internet set up in this place. I don't have my TVs, monitors. None of my gaming stuff is set up. Audio is probably all crazy because this place has high ceilings. It actually has sizable ceilings. My last place was very cookie cutter unit. I'd stretch my arms up into the air. I was able to touch the ceiling. So this is hopefully the first of what is to be a bunch of content to come in this new space. I'm gonna try all sorts of crazy stuff because I can and I have the freedom. And we're gonna start by breaking down this new feature that Xbox is testing that is maybe a very obvious indication of where they're going, or maybe not if you haven't been keeping up with the news lately. Tom Warren posted this tweet earlier today where he was like, oh, there's this cool new Xbox feature that they're testing for the dashboard, and it'll make it so your Xbox can remember multiple Wi-Fi networks. It'll be perfect for taking your Xbox on the go. The way it works, at least in this video that Tom shared on Twitter, is that when you put the password in for a Wi-Fi network, you now have the option to go and say, hey, remember this, and it'll store the password. Once you do that, you'll basically build a list of remembered networks. The way Tom Warren puts it is that it's perfect if you go and take your Xbox with you when you're traveling, and then when you come back, you don't have to put in your, quote, long-ass password in order to get back on your Wi-Fi network. Now, this could be a seemingly innocent feature that Xbox has taken out. As Tom Warren says, it's perfect if you travel on the go with your Xbox console. Maybe you take your Series S with you on vacation or to a relative's house. Maybe you got that really cool X screen to go along with it, so you don't even need the TV. Now, me personally, I do not do that. I do not travel with my Xbox. I guess I can if I really wanted to. The last time I really took my console over to someone else's house was back in the 360 generation, when I would take my Xbox to my friend's house and we'd have LAN parties. What it really came down to was we didn't want the other person peeking or screen watching if we played split screen on Halo 3. Bring our own consoles, hook them up to the tiny crappy spare TVs that we had. Those were the good old days, but those days are long gone. I'm not taking my console over to friend's house or with me on vacation. I know some people do. Now, I'm not saying that there's no one out there that travels with their Xbox or takes their consoles on the go. But if I was a betting man, I would say that's a very small percentage of the Xbox player base. Gone are the days of me going over to a friend's house and bringing my whole Xbox console with me. And I see you guys, I have access to my analytics. I check them occasionally. I see that most of the people that watch this channel are either my age or above, the 30 to 50 range. So I'd venture to say that a lot of you are like me. You don't bring your Xbox with you on vacation, on holiday, whatever. But what if there was an easier way to bring your Xbox with you wherever you went? And yes, I'm talking easier than throwing your Series S into a backpack. You probably already know where I'm going with this because a lot of people are pointing out the obvious and saying that this feature would be perfect for an eventual Xbox handheld. This feature would make it so you can have it docked to a TV, connect it to your home Wi-Fi network, pick it up, take it with you to Starbucks, connect to that network. Oh, it remembers it. Oh, go on over to your mom's house, pay her a visit, but then eventually she's going to have to get back to work. She works from home and she's an account manager at CVS, so you got to find something to do, right? So you whip out that Xbox console and oh yeah, it already remembers your mom's Wi-Fi. This is just one of many, many things that Xbox is currently doing right now, which is leading fans to believe that they're going to make an Xbox handheld device. It's personally something that I'm really interested in. It's oh, I already have a Series S sitting right over there. What if that was handheld? What if it was a Steam Deck? And they're also testing out another update that will allow you to manage your saves over Xbox Cloud Gaming. Another update related to a feature that is, again, often associated with on-the-go gaming, mobile gaming. Even though the big draw of this rumored handheld Xbox is that you can play games natively, you don't have to stream them, we know that the ability to use Xbox Cloud Gaming on a potential Xbox handheld is important to Microsoft, because they were literally going around asking people through a survey hey, how often do you stream games through your handheld that you own, whether it's a Steam Deck or an ROG Ally or a Lenovo Go? Like I always say, where there is smoke, there is fire, and these rumors keep on building heat. I would very much like an Xbox handheld. I think that would be cool, especially if they're going towards like this open-ended ecosystem where I can sideload Steam onto it as well. Ideally, I would get the best of both worlds of having a Steam Deck, being able to download and manage my Steam library on this Xbox handheld, and keep my digital library with all my Xbox games. Now, an Xbox handheld, in and of itself, that might not be such a radical thing for Microsoft to do. It's been done before, right? We got the Steam Deck, we got the Ally, we got the Legion Go. PlayStation did handhelds. Nintendo obviously does handhelds. It's nothing new, right? Well, if none of that is crazy enough for you, what about all Xbox first party games eventually going to PlayStation? Now, we know a few Xbox first party games have already made their way over to other platforms, even before Sea of Thieves, Grounded, Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush. Stuff like Minecraft Legends is available on all platforms, for example. Ghostwire Tokyo Deathloop infamously launched on PlayStation before it even sniffed Xbox consoles. And of course, the Fallout series is one of the best-selling things on PlayStation right now, an Xbox-owned title. But all of that stuff is pre-acquisition of Bethesda, pre-acquisition of Mojang. I get it. The worry for a lot of fans when they were like, hey, we're going to be porting over Obsidian Games and Sea of Thieves over to PlayStation 5 was, okay, well, what's the point of owning an Xbox if all these games are going to come to PlayStation 5 anyway? Why wouldn't I just buy a PS5? And then Phil Spencer came out and he was like, guys, don't even worry about it. Just because we're porting over these 4 games to PS5 and Nintendo Switch doesn't mean that we're going to do that to every game. We don't want to set that expectation, so don't even worry about it, guys. But then in an interview right after, he was like, well, we examine things on a case-by-case basis. And, if something reaches saturation on Xbox as a platform, then we're going to port it over. And that criteria can be applied to a lot of stuff, no matter the game. Big budget AAA games like Starfield, Indiana Jones, all of that stuff. And so while they went on the Xbox official podcast and were like, no, we're not bringing Starfield over to PlayStation consoles, I'm sitting here thinking like, they're not going to bring Starfield over to PlayStation now, but in like 2, 3, 4 years, yeah, I'm like 100% sure that they would absolutely do that. But apparently, according to Jez Corden, it is not going to stop there. No, there will be a future where even iconic Xbox franchises like Halo, like Gears of War, will also make their way over to PS5 as well. Apparently, over on the Xbox 2 Discord channel, Jez Corden says that all Xbox first-party titles will eventually make their way over to PS5. He then took to Twitter and doubled down on that. He was like, yeah, Halo, Forza, they're definitely a lock for PlayStation 5 in the future. I kind of have to paraphrase it because I didn't see it myself, because by the time I went to go look at it, he had deleted it. That is not at all surprising to me. That is quite the controversial take. I've learned that for myself. I made a video where I was like, hey, maybe Xbox should consider, if they're going to go multi-platform, meaning to other consoles, not to PC, but if they were going to do that true multi-platform route, I was like, hey, maybe they should explore the possibility of making multiplayer games multi-platform and keeping single-player games exclusive to Xbox. This was at a time when Sea of Thieves was selling really, really well on the PS5 pre-orders, and it was clear that Sea of Thieves, very obviously multiplayer game, was getting a second wind through all of this because it was going to be cross-platform with the existing Xbox player base. So I was like, yeah, maybe they should have made Halo Infinite multi-platform. That way it would have had a larger player base. They wouldn't have had to suck us dry with all these crazy microtransactions. And that was a pretty controversial opinion. I don't think Jez Corden was wrong, though, especially when he was like, eventually we may see these iconic Xbox franchises on PlayStation, especially with the direction that they're going in now. They may not be from huge game-breaking franchises, but they're already porting over games to PlayStation already. They're talking about having multiple storefronts on the next-gen Xbox. I don't think it's gonna happen tomorrow or next year, but I agree, eventually, that's a very realistic thing that will happen. Like, Xbox right now is seeing a resurgence of people going to buy Fallout games on the PlayStation storefront. Someone somewhere in Microsoft Xbox HQ, wherever that is, that's what I think of it in my head, is sitting there thinking, Do you think that people on PlayStation 5 would buy Starfield too? But before we get a PlayStation 5 version of Starfield, we are getting a long awaited and heavily requested feature on the console side. Yes, we are finally getting a 60 FPS mode for this game. It's not, I was going to say it's almost a year later. No, it's like 6 months later. It feels like it's been out for a year. Obviously, when Starfield launched back in September, they launched with the very controversial decision to cap the game at 30 FPS, which is something that we're starting to see a lot of. But on May 15th, Bethesda is pushing out an update that'll allow Series X players to push the game to 60 FPS. And yes, you heard that right, Series X only. I don't think there's going to be a 60 FPS mode on the Series S, sorry. According to The Verge, the 60 FPS option comes as part of several new display customization settings. The game will let you choose to prioritize visuals to keep the highest resolution, blah, 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 standard quality mode stuff. Or you can choose to prioritize frame rate performance, which will lower internal resolution and detail for special effects, lighting, and crowds. They do recommend toggling variable refresh rate on a 120Hz display. You don't really need it, but it is nice if you got it, just to kind of smooth out that screen tearing, those occasional stutters. Now, this is cool, even though this is, yes, a feature that should have been a part of the game at launch, but it's still cool. Thank you, Bethesda, for giving this to us. I don't think I'm going to jump in just now. I think I'm going to hold off until Shattered Space launches, and then I'll jump back in. Anyways, guys, that's all the Xbox stuff I have to talk about today. Thanks again for joining me for another edition of Xbox Ready, the first of many videos to come, again, like I said earlier, in this new condo that I got. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.